All right, friends, for those of you who know, I am doing one video a day for 100 days for the first 100 days of 2025. So today is day 3. I hope that these 10 to 25-minute videos are helpful for you. And so without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. This is something that I do that there are very few other people in my life that actually do. And folks have told me that this is something that actually sets me apart um, in this business. So maybe you're wondering, does this happen to do, what does this have to do with? Well, it's actually something really small, but it pays really big dividends. So what it is we just got done. Here we are in January, and this is something that I usually do at the end of December. Sometimes it spills over into the beginning of January, like now, and I'm going to show it to you. So you've got right here, this is a little pre-wrapped box of chocolates. Thank you, Trader Joe's. So these are pre-wrapped. I just went and bought them off the shelf. And then this is from Costco, which they had a big long one of 4. And so then I broke it down and give it away. So for those of you who are just listening, these are some little gifts. They are not, a big cost for me. Generally, they sometimes can be, $5 to $15 of a cost to me. But one of the things is every year I want to make sure that I give these out. And there's 5 different things that I like to do. So, first of all, I get these little gifts that are easy to give out, and I'll write a little note, and I like to give them to the first set of people is my key team members. So the attorneys that I do business with, I generally will give them something. I may give them something a little bit extra. This year, I also bought and brought their staff at 2 main offices that I do a lot of business with. I brought them some like a hot cocoa mix type thing, or I brought them some extra chocolates. Those are some of the things that I will do. They put a lot of work in on my files. Yes, I pay them for their services, but this is just one of those ways where it's um, I am thanking them for the work they put in on my files and how they help me complete my goals. My business partners, the folks that I own properties with, that's going to be something I'm going to make sure that I bring them something as well. There also, you've got one of my favorite ones is I've got some handymen that do pretty, consistent business with me. And so I like to give them something as well. Those are the guys who, basically right now with business being slow, they're the ones who I say, hey, if you're getting slow, call me because I want you to stay in business, right? So these are the guys that I would look for ways to keep them busy because they're an important part of my team. So these could be folks that maybe it's a real estate agent that you do consistent business with, maybe it is an insurance folk or something like that. So key team members, investing is a team sport, a great opportunity to thank them. The second type of person is my private money lenders. So a lot of times this will also include lunch. In this changing market, one of the big things that I'm doing is I'm making sure I am tapping in with my private money lenders um, pretty consistently. And I'm actually always trying to create new ones. Earlier today, I was at lunch with one that may become someone who lends on my deals. And then Tuesday, I have another one. So, today's Friday. So, in a few days on Tuesday, I have another lunch planned. And that's with one who is currently lending on my deals. And so, we kind of just check in. Hey, how are things going? We really are allies. And I'm trying to say, hey, how can I help you? And how are things going? Is there anything you need from me? And so usually it'll come with lunch. A lot of times it's my treat. Sometimes they fight me for the check, and then it'll come with one of the gifts as just a little happy, a little thank you. Um, this is important because I like to stay. I don't want to just be transactional. Like, hey, um, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am, type of thing. But the reality is I want to say, hey, how's life going? How can I continue to add value to you? And then really just being relational. Hey, how's life going? What are you up to these days? How are the kids? How was your Christmas? All of that. So with that being said, if you're watching this video, I think a light of mine just went out. Maybe it died. But anyway, uh, the third the third group of people that I am going to be looking to give these to, it is the sellers who have sold properties to me on seller finance. And so, very specifically, title is transferred. We're making them payments monthly. So these are folks that I will, reach out to, and I want to, stay in touch with them. Yes, we're making the payments monthly, but there'll be times where I'll meet with them. So, for example, I had one and she said, "Hey, well, I'm going to be at the library at this location, meet me there." And we ended up talking a good bit. She had other real estate plans that she's thinking through in 2025. And she actually had other properties. She said, "Hey, do you mind working up an offer on these? Hey, I have a cousin that is looking at selling. Can I give him your number?" By staying in touch, not only can I remain an ally in their life. But on top of that, I stay top of mind. I really wish that I would be able to have more capacity to meet more frequently with these sellers. But so sometimes I'll reach out to them, especially if there's a holiday, if something major happened like a hurricane or something in the area, and I know they're local. These are great opportunities for me to kind of just reach in again to be relational, not just transactional. And it has often turned to whether it's opportunities to help them with something else they're doing, that especially if it's real estate related, but it's just staying involved in their lives. Um, and so this is a great one. Now, a lot of times I will stay in touch with sellers who I've bought the property from subject to. I don't always send them like gifts like this because really, I stay in touch with them, but I generally don't bring them some of these. Maybe in the future that might be something that I change, but it's really one of those things where I want to just I will still stay in touch with those. Usually it's just checking in again, holidays, things like that. Um, Now the fourth set is something that I used to do. I'm not currently doing, but maybe it's something that you may want to look at doing is I used to give a gift like this to my tenants. Back when I self-managed. I currently do not self-manage. I have nearly 60 properties, and what I want to do is, that is right now in my building phase. I have a lot of managers that manage, and so my job is to manage the managers. And so I do not bring gifts to tenants. At some point, I do plan on bringing properties back in-house once I basically trade up the quality of my properties, downsize to a lower number, and then I would take it back in-house. And this would absolutely be something where, if I'm self-managing, I would definitely bring something like this for my tenants. A great opportunity again to just keep that relationship going where it's not just transactional, but relational. And I think that's huge for your tenants really seeing you as a human and then respecting and having respect for you. And along with, properly vetting tenants, but keeping an open relationship like this. Again, you're not their best friend. You're not, I'm not, that's not what I'm promoting here. I'm just saying show up as a human. And hopefully that converts to respect for your property as well. And then the fifth thing I want to bring up here is I've done this before. We did not do it this year due to a number of reasons, but it is something I want to do moving forward. Is basically have a Christmas party and the business pay for it as a just obviously getting the food. Nothing. I'm not really big and ornate when it comes to parties and stuff, but it's just an idea of thanking folks that I do business with repeatedly and just saying, hey, I want you to be happy that you're in business with me. I want this to be more than just again the transactions. I want it to be relational. And so I'm often looking for ways how can I sew into the relationships in my life. Real estate is a team sport, you guys. And I cannot tell you how many times, sellers, other, business folks, they say, people don't do this often enough, especially you know, especially real estate investors. Real estate investors are known for being frugal and cheap and tightwads. Guys, look, I understand to a degree being a little bit more frugal, but at the same time, invest wisely. And investing in my relationships is a wise investment, in my opinion. So this has often set me apart from other investors, and I love that, especially when it comes to, whether it's sellers that have sold to me on financing, private money lenders, or other folks in the industry. And it really takes a long-term thinking approach. What I mean by that is it really says, hey, I am thinking long-term here. I want to do continuous business with you, things like that. So it is really me thinking long term versus, what can I get out of them today? What's in it for me? And it's really a small cost to do it. So you can either I like getting them and delivering them. Now, if someone is not local, a lot of times then I'm going to I may have to figure out what that looks like. Um, so there are companies that can do this. I like the additional relationship touch with like connecting with someone and really, as a good old Southern, I don't know if it's a proverb or whatnot, but it's the idea of being belly to belly. I like that. Now, at the end of the day, I know that that's not always possible. So again, there might be some companies. I personally don't have any I can recommend, but there might be some companies you can research that basically can send this for you. I have had plenty of times, um, and I say plenty of times. I have had like three different people over the 10 years who either repeatedly would send it when we would do a deal together or as a one-off would send something through a company. So basically where that company would handle the shipping of their product with a little personalized note. So just know that it doesn't necessarily have to be something you have to physically go do, although I see value in that. Um, but this has been especially helpful, especially in my referral based business model, because again, I'm putting that emphasis on relationships and I'm staying in touch with people. I'm staying top of mind. And again, it is something that has set me apart. Again, there are very few people um, who have done this, who I've been on the receiving end of this. And then every time I do it, people always say, man, they just don't make folks like this anymore. Like people, you thank you for thinking of the little things, little stuff like that. So maybe this is something, obviously Christmas has passed. We're into the new year now, but maybe this is something you can think of in, Christmas 2025. Maybe you can do it for another holiday. Maybe again, maybe it can get you thinking of different things. But this has just been something that easily has been a great opportunity for me to really sow into my relationships. Again, you want to think of relationships as an ATM. You have to deposit first before you can withdraw. And so ultimately, I love thinking of ways how can I continue to deposit into the relationships in my life and not just be someone who's going and withdraw. You know what happens at the ATM when you do that. And especially if you don't have any any capital in there, relationship capital, the things are going to bark at you and say you have insufficient funds. Don't be a person that is insufficient relationship capital. Make sure you are sowing into the people in your life and telling them, hey, I'm thankful that I do business with you. Hey, I want to do business with you, again and again. Those are great opportunities to say, hey, this is how I this is one way that I'm appreciative, right? So, hey, I hope this is helpful for you. Again, if you haven't been following along, make sure to subscribe. Every single day for the first 100 days in 2025, I'm doing a short form video, 10 to 25 minutes on a topic that you can, apply into your real estate investing journey, or it's something that you can take to heart that hopefully can help you here in 2025. That's my goal. I'm cheering you on. Appreciate you guys. See you tomorrow.